February 26th. Hope you all folks are doing well out there. Approval consent agenda, please.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda. Where is my agenda? Which includes the approval of minutes, the approval of payroll totaling $293,310.56, and accounts payable totaling $327,719.27.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay. Public comments.
Sherry Walrod.
Sure. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Sherry. Can you hear me?
Is the red button on?
The red button is on.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Thank you.
Okay, very good. My name is Sherry Cable Walrod, and I am the community liaison for Core Community. And I wanted to let everybody know and invite everyone, and personally invite each of you guys to come to our Bridges Out of Poverty workshop. Since poverty is a community issue, it will take the entire community to solve it. But the reason we're putting on this poverty workshop is this will help people understand the framework and what goes on and the mindset that sometimes drives poverty. If we understand it better, we can help solve it. So Bridget Out of Poverty Workshop is a unique and powerful tool designed specifically for social, health, and legal service professionals and those community stakeholders who sometimes encounter those who are living in poverty. This is based on a book by Ruby Payne, and the Bridges Out of Poverty workshop has reached millions of service providers and businesses whose daily work connects them with the lives of people living in poverty. As a poverty workshop attendee, you will learn specific strategies and brainstorm potential solutions which you and your organization can implement right now. This will help you do your jobs better here in Bourbon County. This is the reason we're hosting this. Core Community is hosting it. It will help you design programs to better serve the people you work with and to build skill sets for management to help guide employees, upgrade training for frontline staff like receptionists, caseworkers, managers, and it will improve your treatment outcomes in healthcare, behavioral health, and so forth. It increases the likelihood of helping those move from welfare to work. If your business or agency organization works with people in poverty, only a deeper understanding of their challenges and strengths will help you partner with them to create opportunities for success. So we're having it this Saturday, March the 2nd, from 8:30 to 12:30 p.m. It's at the Fort Scott Nazarene Church, which is located at 1728 Horton Street. And if you want to email me, you can show up that day also. We're asking $35 to attend. If you already have the Bridges Out of Poverty workshop, it'll be like $10. But that just helps to cover the cost of the book and to bring the presenter in. The presenter is the CEO of Youth Core Ministries. Youth Core Ministries is the parent organization for Core Community. So you get a chance to meet Deb Factor and learn from her. She's worked with people in poverty for over 30 years. So she has a great understanding of how people think, and she'll tell a lot of personal stories that day, and you get to meet her in person. So you can email me, and that email is COREBBCO or BBCO, Core Community, Bourbon County .sherry@gmail.com, and it'll also be in the notes. And I'm out and about everywhere, and so you can let me know. We'd love to have you, love to see you there. Invite everyone from the community and specifically you guys. Thank you for your ongoing support. I'll be back in a few weeks to give you a full update on the minutes in the agenda. All right, thank you guys very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Next, yep, you're right.
Good evening, Mr. Walker.
Good evening, commissioners. Beautiful day. Planted garden, did this, did that. What I'm here about is we talk about resolutions, and resolutions don't do a lot, but it does say something that's kind of like a little water flowing over the dam. You get enough going, all of a sudden you have a big spill, and they got to solve that problem. What I'm here about is there's other communities that have gotten serious, and they've done a resolution on Medicaid expansion. There's some things that go along with that. And one of them, they'd say, well, we want these people to have work. Well, studies have shown over 68% of the people already meet that requirement. Continuing on, 7 to 8, we're pushing past 7 billion going to other cities and things. And where I'm going with this, if Bourbon County won't do a resolution, or the city won't do a resolution to take and expand Medicaid, and there's not one hospital or medical administrator would turn down them extra dollars, because face it, medical don't make money. And my bottom line to that is, I'm tired of sending my money to all these others. We're one of only 10 that hasn't done that. That's absolutely insane. Let me see, I have it down here. And it'd be awful hard for me to support a sales tax if we're not gonna get serious and support Medicaid expansions. Thank you very much, Commissioners.
Thank you.
Thanks, Clint.
Anyone else?
That's it.
Mark, are you on the list?
I have a public service announcement.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bourbon County Emergency Management would like people to know that we're under a red flag warning. It's not a burn ban, but it just wants folks to know. Please be very, very, very cautious. Through 9 p.m. tomorrow night, we could have wind gusts up to 50 miles an hour. So it is not in your best interest, if you own a piece of property or to start any fires, even accidentally, to please notify 911 as soon as possible, because they can spread very quickly with just 20 to 25 mile an hour winds. But when we have up to 50, and the humidity tomorrow could be just 20%. So that really activates the fire. So that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mark. Anyone else, Clifton?
Possibility, but we'll take it.
Okay.
Absolutely. Snow.
Trevor Jacobs, you've got the floor.
Well,
Well, you're on the agenda anyway.
yeah, he was on
Okay.
the agenda. So I see here, we have this other resolution. I don't know where this one came from. The little,
Our county counselor made that one. What he
Gotcha.
told me on the phone anyway.
okay.
He called and
Well-
told me he had submitted.
I'm gonna get that last time Commissioner Beth wasn't here.
Right.
I'm gonna make a motion to pass this resolution, the same that I did 2 weeks ago. Was that 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
So, again, everyone has a copy of it, so I don't need to read it out loud. But this one, as I presented 2 weeks ago, is the resolution 04-24 that I'm making a motion to pass.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Okay, how about we have some discussion as to why there's no second?
Well, I really don't think that's part of it, but motion dies lack of a second, so.
Okay, well, I will go ahead and read it out loud then. A declaratory resolution opposing the entry, transportation, employment, and settlement of illegal immigrants in Bourbon County, Kansas. Whereas Bourbon County is a legal and political subdivision of the state of Kansas for which the Board of County Commissioners is authorized to act. Whereas the Biden administration has failed to protect the citizens of the United States by securing our southern border and have instead sued the state of Texas for upholding this obligation, thus allowing more than 285,000 illegal immigrants from our southern border in the fiscal year 2023. And whereas Governor Abbott and the state of Texas have chosen to uphold its sovereignty and its legal obligation to its citizens by securing its southern border not only from lethal drugs but also illegal immigrants without the United States' best interest, and whereas states have a right of self-defense granted in the U.S. Constitution under Article 4, Section 4, and Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, and whereas at least 1.7 million illegal immigrants have evaded capture since fiscal year 2022, and 169 individuals have been on the terrorist watch list in fiscal year 2023. And whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Bourbon County, Kansas has determined that the importation, transportation, placement, settlement, employment of illegal immigrants, often without proper vetting, presents a threat to our national security and threatens the health, safety, welfare, economic stability, and social order of states, cities, and counties, including Bourbon County. And whereas the board supports legal immigration and lawfully administered migrant worker programs as being beneficial to the sustainability of Bourbon County. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of County Commissioners of Bourbon County, Kansas opposes the actions of individuals, corporate entities, NGOs, which is non-government organizations, religious organizations or denominations, federal or state agencies, federal or state governing bodies, departments, and presidential executive orders that facilitate the entry, transportation, placement, settlement, or employment of illegal immigrants to or within the lawful boundaries of Bourbon County, the state of Kansas, and respectfully request Governor Laura Kelly stand with its citizens in protecting the sovereignty of the state of Kansas. I'm not sure, so as Mr. Walker pointed out, resolutions oftentimes don't actually do anything, but they do make a statement, and it shows where the people's mind is at. Now, I, for one, agree with what's written in here, and I believe that many people in Bourbon County would. It's not like an invisible problem that doesn't affect Bourbon County. I encounter illegal immigrants very often in my line of work. So it is a problem. And I believe with one state, or at least one county already passing a similar resolution, if we pass it and other counties pass it, it just makes a solid statement. Because we've been going along with things that we don't agree with, and when we don't stand up for what we believe in, we get to the point where we are now, where it's the situation of the border. That's one thing, is lots of other things that we don't agree with, but are taken for granted now that they have to be this way because no one stands up for what they think is right. So I don't know if you guys have any particular problems with what's in here, but that's my stance on it.
The first statement's already law. I'm not sure why we would say that. The Biden administration has failed to protect the citizens. If it was me, the only way I would vote for this is if it said Washington, D.C. failed, because it's both Democrats and Republicans in Washington. It's not just Biden. So I don't have a problem with that. I mean, it's a bill just not passed because Trump said don't pass it. So it's on both, not just Biden. So I don't agree with that one. As far as Texas and their states' rights, absolutely. But I would put that on not just Texas, every state. And I certainly don't in any way, shape, or form agree with the bottom one. Because there are little kids and there are people that are in really bad shape coming across that border, and I'll promise you I'm not going to tell a church not to help them or anybody else. And if you do, well, I pray you find some compassion or empathy.
So you want a church to facilitate illegal immigration?
I'm not saying that. This says religious organizations, denominations,
This says
opposing all of it. And so I'm not going to stand here and say if a church will help those poor kids down there, you're dang right I want them to help them.
Okay, it says illegal immigrants, so it's not legal immigration, it's illegal immigration.
So we know that illegal immigration happens, which I'm opposed to illegal immigration.
Because people won't take a stand against it. It happens because no one will take a stand against it. That's why it happens on this mass level.
This, in my opinion, is nothing more than political mudslinging. It won't have anything to do with it. You want to pass this very simple resolution? All for that. Plain and simple.
You want to read it? You want me to read it? You want to read it? Go ahead.
No, you can. Okay.
This is the resolution our county council suggested that would work for us. A declaration resolution supporting state rights and settlement of legal immigrants in Bourbon County, Kansas. Whereas Bourbon County is a legal and political subdivision of the state of Kansas in which the Board of County Commissioners is authorized to act, and whereas the states of the United States have rights within the 10th Amendment of the United States Constitution, which recognizes the power of the state government. Traditionally, these include the police powers of health, education, and welfare of the citizens of that state. Whereas the board supports legal immigration and lawful administration, migrant worker programs as being beneficial to the sustainability of Bourbon County. Wherefore, be it resolved, the Board of County Commissioners of Bourbon County opposes any violation of the United States Constitution and supports legal immigration and lawfully administrated migrant workers programs within the lawful boundaries of Bourbon County, Kansas.
So you said the problem you had with the first part of this one is you said it's already law. So is this.
Then fine, I don't really care to pass either one.
Okay.
Nelson.
Yeah.
I mean, I think this is a joke. This does nothing. Resolutions have no teeth.
So if every county, if almost every Republican or conservative county in the state of Kansas passed a resolution and wrote their legislators or wrote their congressmen and the representatives and contacted the governor, you don't think that would do any good at all?
Well, you've got, what, one so far?
I would say, I mean, one county, but my opinion is I'm extremely disappointed, really disappointed that we're even talking about this. I am really disappointed that this is what we're going to talk about.
It's a huge
when
deal.
we have people dying, when we have a massive healthcare crisis in the state of Kansas, when we have a massive housing crisis in the state of Kansas, it is
housing
embarrassment
crisis,
and
people
disappointment.
dying.
We have hospitals closing.
People dying of drug overdoses,
2 weeks ago.
people being murdered. I mean,
Whatever.
come on, we can go back and forth. It's a big issue. I mean, I wouldn't try to minimize it.
I'm not minimizing any of them.
You want the audience to comment?
But I mean, my opinion is very simple. We have hospitals closing across our state, and
Because they can't make money, because no one
and-
pays their bills, because they're paying to provide care to people that run across the border. You don't think that has possibly something
it's
to do
all
with it?
illegal immigrants apparently.
It's a large part of it. It's
Trevor,
a
you have the
large part
floor.
of it. That and welfare from people that don't work.
Trevor,
It's a
like
big
to-
part of it.
Like to speak? Go- Trevor, you have the floor.
Red light on.
Yeah,
Good.
red line is on is what you want.
I am Trevor Jacobs, and I want to thank you for allowing me to speak before you. I have not seen the current resolution or the sub-resolution to this resolution that was prepared tonight. I do appreciate Committeeman Blythe bringing this resolution, and there is, you're right, it is our constitutional duty to protect our borders. We think of the borders of Texas and New Mexico and Arizona, but we cannot be foolish or ignorant or arrogant to think that this plague is moving here. There is a lot of terrorism coming. There's a lot of fentanyl. We want to talk about deaths. We want to talk about closures. That is a federal issue, as we all know and all aware here. If the state could do something about our ER, it would have already been done. But it's federal designation. But we're not talking about that. What we're talking about is protecting the citizens of Bourbon County. And I can't speak for anybody else in this room, but I can speak that this has been a hot topic within my realm, whether it be here in Bourbon County or Lynn County. We have sex trafficking, we have fentanyl, we have the CCP, we have Boko Haram, Hezbollah, the Iranian Guard coming over here.
At this point, man, I'm not sure I want to take much more of it.
Okay.
I don't understand what that means.
No, that's not. You can't do that. That is not right.
I can't
So-
say something to a partner up here.
Point of order,
Well,
point of order.
point of order.
So, this resolution, though some may say it has no teeth, this resolution is a line in the sand saying that we will stand according to the oath of office that every single one of us here has pledged and raised our right hands. I have the constitutions here. We have the addresses in this resolution. It's more than just mere 10th Amendment states' rights. This articulates the articles, and it gives the exact precise addresses therein.
Okay.
We also are afforded by the Federalist Papers 45 and 46 to protect our citizens. This has been in good favor to bring up saying we will stand in solidarity to protect our citizens, to protect our assets, to protect our properties. We talk about churches or religious organizations. These churches are taking state and federal funds to propagate illegal activity. It doesn't matter if it's the mafia or the churches, it's illegal. We want to call the mantra of separation of church and state. But yet, when it facilitates the opposite of it, and to talk about the second whereas in opposition of Biden, he is the executive chief and officer of the United States of America. And we, again, can practice the sovereignty of the state's rights.
Okay, Trevor,
So-
I'm going to ask you to wrap it up, please.
So, within that, I understand your opposition, and that's fine. If you don't want to stand for the people, you don't want to stand for our protections, that's fine. I also was given a directive by the chairman, if I may, to produce the evidence of the passing of these resolutions from the House and the Senate. Overwhelmingly.
Well, what I'd suggest, you look over
So-
the one that our counselor
Well-
wrote for us. That we can-
As I mentioned, I have not seen that. It was just presented to me tonight.
Give me my copy,
So-
please.
And it's the will of the body, not me. But it's
I
also, at the end of the
understand.
day, it's the will of the people, not me.
And I appreciate your effort and what you've done here.
So,
I'm not going to comment on your resolution. There are a couple items that I didn't care for. One of them was the church, et cetera, but
Correct.
I think the resolution that our county council put together covers all legal.
not disputing that, I haven't read that.
Okay, yeah,
So,
just to give you a copy there. We certainly want to address illegal immigrants, but I'm with Clifton on this church deal. I'm real careful on separating the church.
well,
So read our resolution. Nelson, you please read it.
Oh, I read it, yeah. I mean, it's
And
an
I-
extremely watered down version of the one,
Okay.
that we already have, but,
Okay.
but I did
Okay.
read it, yes.
and I appreciate it. And I'll stand for questions before I leave the podium to
I don't have any questions.
any comments before I,
I appreciate your efforts.
okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you. Okay.
Why I said that for the people in the public, Mr. Jacobs staring at me and talking toward me directly, in my opinion, is threatening.
It's not
And
anything that
unacceptable.
either one of you have ever done to me.
So,
Yeah, he's on
Anyway.
the agenda. He should have been able
Anyway.
to talk for as long as he wanted to speak.
He's an elected official, I mean, just like we are.
oh, but he can sit here like this towards me the whole time?
But he wasn't doing that.
Come on.
Come on, this is
Whatever.
not, this is not gonna go anywhere, folks.
So tender.
So,
Excuse me, Michael
I
Hoyt?
said you're so tender.
let's,
Dish it out, but you don't like to take it.
let's move along, please. Let's move along, please. Okay.
That's just wrong.
It is.
Well, the resolution that we have really covers a lot of law.
Can we see that?
Sure, you can have copies of it. Yeah, you bet,
Make
yeah.
copies of it.
There's copies right there.
Okay.
Copies
You don't
right
need to
there.
make any copies.
Yeah.
So honestly, when I brought this up 2 weeks ago, I thought the only reason, it didn't, fully expected this to pass without a bit of opposition. The only reason I thought it didn't is because Commissioner Beth wasn't here. But I don't know, you said, I don't know why we're talking about it. Okay, why are we talking about it? It seems like a very simple, idea that, in my opinion, probably 90% of residents in Bourbon County would agree with. It aligns with their mindset. It aligns with the values of the people that I represent in my district, I guarantee it. And this other one that we're proposing, it doesn't take a stand on anything. It's very, it's wishy-washy. It's written with the design to not take a stand on anything,
Well,
it's
it's-
kind of it's right on the middle of the fence.
It's written not to go after church organizations, denominations, school, religious organization. Ours doesn't address specifically churches and religious.
Now, Commissioner Beth, I don't have a problem with what you said about the Biden administration. I would have no problem if it said Washington DC. I mean, I would agree with that,
I wouldn't either.
but other than that, yeah. So I'll go ahead and make the motion again, see if I get a second to pass this resolution.
Not without change.
Not without change.
They're both numbered the same, so you're gonna have to discriminate.
Oh, the one that I wrote, the one that I read out loud.
Just wanted to let you know they're both
Okay.
numbered the same.
You and Trevor want to reword some of that, and I mentioned last week, or 2 weeks ago, when we talked about, I wanted to visit with the county counselor about it. I had some questions, I did visit with him, and I have a problem. I think that one should say Washington or the federal government total, because I think our immigration policy has failed for 15 years probably.
Okay, I'll change that right now.
And I don't want the churches in there. I don't want the churches, the denominations in there. I think it's separation of state. Well, you can shake your head, but I'm not going to pass it that way, so I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, I
Well,
have,
I'm a Catholic, and Catholic Charities is helping illegals down in Texas a
Yeah.
lot. And it makes a problem because people can't get the difference between being compassionate and following the law and knowing that a lot of these children
yeah,
are being trafficked.
yeah,
And they are not belonging to families. They are a disposable income for the cartels because they are more money because they can be sold over and over and over again. And my own church is facilitating that. And I have a problem with that.
yeah, but I'm talking about ones here in Bourbon County.
Well, it can be,
This
any
addresses
denomination.
Bourbon County churches.
Yes,
So-
but they can hide behind the churches.
Well, it says, it doesn't specify Bourbon County churches. It says the actions of individuals, corporate entities, that would be any and all. Any and all involved in facilitating illegal
Yeah.
immigration.
This is a resolution for Bourbon County, though.
Yes,
So-
obviously. But obviously everything it mentions isn't talking about Bourbon County. Otherwise, it wouldn't mention the Biden administration or Texas. So, but anyway.
You're free to make another motion if you like.
No.
That's why you're.
My motion stands. I haven't heard it died yet, so,
Yeah, I did say it died lack of a second.
okay. The
but-
first time, I didn't hear the
Oh,
second.
you made another second.
Yeah, I made another motion.
You know,
24A.
It's called 24A, yeah.
We'll call it 24A.
-1. And with some of those changes, I could go with it, but I'm not with this wording. Up to you, Cliff, if you want a second. I think Cliff has already said he wants some changes. I don't oppose this. I understand the intent. But I just want to make sure it addresses Bourbon County because, yes, the immigration they moved to Arizona yesterday, so they're fighting them in Arizona now. And you go to Canada, you walk across. So it's amazing what's happening in our borders. It's scary. I agree.
It's all over this country.
It is all over this country. I can go along with this, just a little changes, few changes, so. Okay, you want to die lack of a second, unless you agree to some changes, so. Okay, motion dies lack of a second, again. Public Works. All right.
Good evening. Got a few things here, so I'll try to make it quick. First is the follow-up for 1997, 195th, the utility for Chris Meach that was put in. It is put into our specs, so if you want to finalize that, I believe you were gone at their meeting when they approved it.
Okay.
You owe me?
Yeah, you were absent. I got here after.
Gotcha.
But we need to approve it on the bottom, not the, we need
Oh.
to sign on the bottom. Next is, it's time for our biannual bridge inspections. We have 119 of them due, and then 2 fracture criticals that are due. We have the money in the budget. This is a contract from Schwab Eaton for $19,622 to get all of our bridges inspected and put on the bridge portal, like Kansas Department of Transportation. So
They're still calling the metal bridge fraction. That's the second one.
I believe so. It's 170, and I
Okay.
was trying to find exactly which 170 was.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's that one or if it's the one out on J.
I'm just curious.
Sorry, I just thought of something I'm gonna talk about in commission
No,
comment.
Good,
you're fine.
good.
Take your time.
With somebody that somebody said in my public comment
Here we go. Hold on. You will sign here.
about pressing charges and having hurt feelings. Did you hear that, Clint?
It's like, I can't hold it right, so.
Your feelings are hurt? Oh, dear my.
You want to press some charges?
How about that?
Do these ever go out for bid? Does anyone else do those?
Words for me.
We can put them out.
No, I just
out for
wondered,
bid,
I mean-
but they've done all of them and have.
Okay.
20,
They're probably the best,
years.
I mean, probably good, but
Clifton, you think 24 days is long enough?
there happened to be somebody that did
It
it
looks better.
cheaper.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
I'm gonna cut it off.
We'll get that back to you tomorrow. Okay. We had our M. Shaw refresher course last week. And then this week, we have our new minor training for M. Shaw for our employees that haven't been through the M. Shaw training. So, and that'll be for our rock quarries. Get your proper training so you can be out on site. And have the paperwork for that on file. Have not received any citations yet on the other issue, waiting. That usually runs a month or two. Maybe we won't receive it, but I bet we do, so we'll see. We did receive our DWR permit for the culvert replacement east of 130th Street and Kansas Road. So that was on Kansas, just east of 130th. The culverts have been ordered and should be here any day, so when they get here, then we'll look at getting those replaced. We'll have to go with 4 48-inch culverts, 30-foot long, so I'll let you know what's going on there. We're still working on the DWR permit for 225th and Tomahawk. Did have in the last 2 weeks, we did have a pre-construction meeting for the bridge at 160th and Fern. That project is scheduled to start April 1st, but there's a possibility of possibly starting the week of March 11th. So kind of up in the air yet, still waiting on, make sure utilities are out of the way. And they're in the process of finalizing the
What was the crossroads again? Fern and where?
160th.
Okay.
Yep.
What was there's a one over kind of west of 3 Highway.
50th and Grand, or 60th
Yeah.
and Grand.
What's that? Where's that one at?
You have approved it, and so the surveying, I know they've done the surveying and the plans are in the, being put together for the replacement on that.
Did you have an opportunity to visit that one gentleman out there?
Not yet, I have not.
Just
I have
curious,
not.
yeah.
I've usually run into him, the family, and that hasn't, we usually cross paths and we just
Yeah.
haven't, but we will
Okay.
eventually. We did meet with an asphalt contractor last week to look at Eagle Road. We had some unraveling in a spot or two. Was concerned a little bit with our mix or what have you, so we've done some core samples, have sent that off, waiting to hear back from them. It appears that may not have enough fines in our mix, that our crusher is too clean of chips or what have you, but we're getting it all tested, so that way we know what the proper mix needs to be, the amount of oil, the amount of rock, the amount of fines, the size of the rock.
Yeah.
And then the density, how much we're rolling it, if we're rolling too much, not enough. So just want to get that out there, that we are aware that we did have a little bit of unraveling on Eagle, but it's nothing we cannot come back and put a surface coat over the top of, and it'll seal everything up and go from there. And that's kind of been our plan all along, so.
And, you know, and your materials probably changed that new crusher.
Absolutely, it's a lot cleaner.
A lot cleaner, so.
A lot cleaner, so.
You're probably right, not enough fines.
Yeah.
Probably, but.
What we will know,
Yeah.
that's preliminary, by just looking at it, when we done the core sample, actually drilled a hole in the road and looked at you can kind of see there may be a void or two where there's not enough fines to get all the rocks and gravel and the different materials mixed in together, so. Anyhow, just want to let you know that we are working on that. Do have a meeting this week to sit down with the city of Bronson. They asked us to come out and sit down with them, making no promises whatsoever. We just want to sit down, and they want to visit with us on what they may need or what have you. So that meeting is actually scheduled for 2 weeks.
From now, or?
Yeah, it's on a Wednesday.
Okay.
I don't remember the exact.
I think we chipped for them, chip sealed about 7 or 8 years ago for them. Long.
Yeah.
Been quite a while. But
Right. So, anyhow, I want to let you know that. Write that in there. Also, back in April of '22, we had a hailstorm come through out here. It was very spotty, and it was out at Public Works, and we had some damage done to our roofs and what have you. The insurance adjuster has reached out to me, and if I'm being honest, I actually forgot about it. Anyhow, he's wanting to come down and visit with us, and I'm asking if you guys, if it's all right for Commissioner Beth to be present, since he has done metal roofing before and has knowledge on that. Make sure that we're not overlooking anything, and that we're getting what we should be getting out of the insurance adjuster.
Sure, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if you have to make a motion on that, or if you're just good with it. Okay, that's fine.
I think it's
Yeah,
fine.
good enough. Did want to let you know that we had to raise our disposal price for tires at the landfill. We had to go from 9 cents to 10 cents per pound. The reason we had to do that was because where we dispose of them raised their price. So we're trying to keep it as low as we can, but we got to be able to, since they raised their price and the fuel it takes, the labor and manpower, truck and all that, we had to end up and raise it up a penny. So when you bring tires out to the landfill, know the prices went up a penny a pound. And then the last thing, I just want to make sure that this is out there, that everyone knows. I've had some questions on our motor graders and what have you, whether we can track their hours and whether we know whether they're running and where they're at and if they're working. And I just want to be very clear that every one of our motor graders have GPS tracking on them. We know what area has been bladed. We know the times the motor grader was started. I mean, it gives us an hour by hour listing here. I can tell you when the machine was started, how much idle time, how much working time, how much fuel was used. We can also go in and print off a map to know the location they were at, whether at 2:30 they were at this location, whether at 3 o'clock they were at this location. And I also want to make sure that we're well aware that if a motor grader is at home by 3 o'clock or what have you, I ask them to grease their motor graders, make sure they're fueled up, make sure everything's ready to go, check them out, so that way in the mornings and what have you, your maintenance is done and we can get out and get to blading. So that's across the board. Every one of the motor graders have GPS capabilities. We can go right online, get a report, print the report out, and know exactly what's going on there. So
Well, I'm glad they're greasing them. They're
Yeah.
expensive.
yes, they are.
Very expensive.
Very expensive. So probably could do, hell, anyhow. We'll just leave it at that. And then another little issue, I'll just throw it out there. My door is always open. If there's a question on any purchases that are made or anything like that, feel free to give me a call. We're not hiding anything. I'll promise you that. So you're more than welcome to do open records requests, but you can save everybody a lot of time if you just give me a phone call. And I'll answer your questions, and I'm telling you now, there is no purchase going on that has not been pre-approved and thought through and what have you. So, again, you can call me at any time. I'll be more than glad to discuss and tell you exactly why that purchase was made. So, any questions for me?
Nope, I appreciate your purchasing policies.
Yep.
I think you're doing a great job the way you purchase things. You know, hired all ticket items come to the commission, that's our rules.
Yep.
So I agree, your door is always open.
Yep.
If the public has any questions, call you, or go
Yep.
out there and talk to you.
Yeah, give me a phone call.
Yeah. I don't have anything, Eric.
And you can call evenings, weekends, however. If I can answer, I will answer. So, anything? I will get a date and let you know on the roof if you're available or not on that.
Anything, Nelson? Nope.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Mr. Mike Quick, County Appraiser. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Okay, so mine is just basically another informational, getting it out there. We're to that point again, on March 1st, our valuation notices will go out for everybody's valuing their property for the 2024 tax year. They'll be mailed out on Friday, March 1st, probably see them Saturday, maybe the first part of the week. Just want to let everybody know, with the housing market the way it is, everything's going up. We've seen across the board, I was able to use, the state allows us to use what we call an index figure. An index figure takes the previous year's sales against those places' values and lets you do a figure on that. It's usually less than what market is. This year ours was in at 9%. So if when I was doing final value for everybody, the 9% was the choice, because if I looked at the market side of it, which was what the state would prefer us to use, we're looking at anywhere from 30% to higher increase in everybody's taxes. Not taxes in
Year
their
to
property
date?
values. Huh?
Year to date?
Yeah, it would be, that's how strong the market is right now compared to what we have everything valued at. We're still trying to catch up to the big boom. I didn't want to jump everybody's values, 30, 40, 50% because everything was selling that much higher. We tried to go slower, hoping that the housing market would slow down and we would see, some decrease. Haven't seen that yet. So we're looking at, use 9% for pretty much everything, as much as we could. Some things will be higher, some things will be lower, depending on, if you just bought the place, things like that can affect that. Commercial is all on cost because we don't get enough sales on commercial properties to do a market value on them, like places like Johnson County and them where they get hundreds of sales. So we do everything by cost. Those have gone up just because the cost of everything has gone up. And then as far as like ag land, good news is on dry crop land has gone down this year, which is great. That's a good thing. Grassland has stayed pretty steady, has went up a little bit in some areas, but the actual cropland has gone down. Ag is different. People always get confused. They think, well, this is bringing 5,000 an acre, this is bringing 6,000 an acre. That has nothing to do with the way your taxes are figured on ag land. It's all by use. So if you've got crop on there, it's more than if you have grass on there. So that's how all of that goes by. So I know your neighbor just sold his for 5,000 acres, sold 100 acres at that. It's not going to affect your taxes. It all goes by use, and that goes by, the state sets all that for us. So they get yield studies and those things and rent studies, and that's how they come up with the figures. So just wanted to give everybody kind of a heads up. You do have, once those come out on March 1st, you have 30 days to appeal. You can contact our office and appeal those figures. We'll sit down and look at it. More than likely, it's going to be the reason your property went up was market. It's just, that's what state says we have to do with things. So, but we'll sit down with anybody that wants to and look over their property, make sure we have everything in right, and see that we're valuing it the way it should be valued. We have no problem with that whatsoever in our office. So, yeah, I just wanted to get that out there, just kind of give people a heads up, so when they got their valuations this weekend, they didn't you know, completely freak out. The valuation is just the value of the property. It doesn't set your taxes. That's all done by the mill levy. So, we put a value on the property and the rest is in the hands of the tax entities from there, so. If anybody's got any questions or anything like that, they can call my office.
So in general, majority of what you do is dictated to you by the state.
Everything I do is dictated
Everything
by
you
the state. I have to send in so much stuff to the state every year saying this is why we're doing what we're doing.
Yeah,
And
Mr. Michael.
I just, you said there's agricultural land and there's grazing land.
well, what you have is ag land is broke down into, it's actually in three different things. You have dry crop ground, which is your crop. You have grassland, and then the grassland is actually broke down into tame grass and native grass. Native grass is your scrubby stuff that the cows are out in. Tame grass is the stuff that they've been cultivating it for hay, and you can tell it's clean, you know, it doesn't have any scrub in it and that stuff.
So any conversations about having a category hunting land?
Yeah, no, that's been brought up a lot. Yeah, that's been brought up a lot. That would be all done by the state of Kansas. I don't know that you're gonna get anything out of the state of Kansas because.
Well, we know it's driving the valuations up as hunting land, not
Right,
just.
yeah, and again, it has to do, you know, everybody's worried about that affecting their taxes. It's really not, you know, because it's by ag use, not by market value. So if it was by market value, we wouldn't have a
I mean, the
farmer
hunting
left.
people are worried about their taxes going up.
Yeah, a
No,
lot
I
of them.
doubt it.
A lot of them don't care because ours, compared to where they're from, it's why they come here. It's
That's
because
why they
the
come
land
here.
is cheap and the taxes are cheap and that's why they
Right.
come here.
That's-
So.
I think we should have a subcategory, hunting land.
Yes,
Value it.
yeah, and that's been brought up a lot, but.
Mr.
State-
Walker, you had a question?
The question I have for this is an easy one.
Mhm.
Is the state's new computer program out that helps with evaluation? It's just come out. Is that gonna help you at all?
It does, it lets us compare to other counties and things like that with our numbers. It's full transparency for that stuff.
I knew you was all over. I
Right,
just
yeah.
had to ask that question.
Yeah, it's a really nice, because we can see, you know, and we go back to ag land, a lot of people don't understand. Our, as far as like dry crop here, we're only like, I think the last time I checked, 13% of the county is actual cropland. The rest of it is grass and trees. So, you know, a lot of people think, oh, we got all this cropland, all this cropland. It's really not a big part of our county. And then that, you know, well, most of it's rock, so you can't go down this far without hitting rock. So, yeah, it's hard to farm those areas. So, but yeah, if anybody has any questions, wants to stop by, you know, and we'll go over everything. I'll show you everything we have to do, why we do it, why we have to do it that way. Everything I do in my office is dictated by the state. So, and we've been, you know, last year we were non-compliant, and that's because of our residential figures were too low. You know, sales were coming in here, and my figure was here, and the state's like, that's not supposed to be there. So, I've been trying to, I don't wanna kill the people of Bourbon County, you know, by raising everything so quickly. I've been trying to feather it in a little bit, and, you know, last year our residential was the lowest this side of the state in increase, so.
Well, when we had the meetings in the morning, there was always a conference call every year with the gentleman from the state that's telling you you were 90% behind.
Right.
I guess you had that conversation with him.
Well, we will have a, I think it's next week, I think, they'll have a discussion with it, and that it all comes down to the residential side of it.
Okay.
We're off on everything else. I've gotten all the reports in, I've done all the work that I'm supposed to do, it's just.
I
yeah.
wasn't claiming that was a
No,
recorded
no, no,
conversation, but I just
Yeah.
figured you probably already had that.
No, not yet, they have to do it with them,
With the
I think it's on, is
commissioners.
it next week?
Yes.
Yeah, next
Very
week,
good. Okay.
so,
I
Yep.
look forward to that.
yeah, Mike Dahlman from Property Valuation Division will call in and talk to the commissioners and.
So a question I would wanna ask that guy is, Yale Road, you know, tore it up to gravel, which is fine,
Mhm.
but they were living on a paved road, at least on paper anyway.
Right.
It's a pretty rough one, but
Right.
they were living on a paved road, and
Sure.
so that's not right.
Right, and we have to, like I said, it goes by the sales.
Mhm.
So those places that are out there will have comparable sales
Mhm.
from their area showing, you know, this is what the houses are bringing, and that's how that value is brought around, and that's how we use
So
it.
Matt, is a house on a paved road in the county, not in the city, in the county, taxed higher than one that's on a gravel road?
Not necessarily. It all
Did
goes-
you say that
It
again
is.
so everybody could hear it?
Right, no, not necessarily.
It's
It
in
all-
your system as improved road. There's like four
Right,
different
but if
little
you
options.
remember, when we looked at it, we changed them from improved to gravel, from pavement to gravel, and it made no change in the value.
It did. It made a change on when the paved roads The paved roads were taxed higher than the unimproved roads.
Okay, yeah, I don't remember that, because that was one of the things we talked about, is it didn't make a change when I went from pavement to gravel. It all based on sales. You know, if we were going by cost and some things like that, then it might make a big difference in that. But if another house that's a mile and a half away, that's sitting on gravel, that's like it, sells for this amount, it's gonna pull that in as a comparable. So, it's not gonna make the huge
The
difference.
sales are, you know, that if you live on a gravel road, it's not gonna be
Right.
worth
But,
as
you know,
much.
the way everything's been so strong right now, but houses on gravel roads 10 miles out in the county are bringing just as much as houses everywhere else. It's that strong a market. People are paying, you know, I get them all the time, and I'm like, well, I'm not even close on this one. You know, I had it at 50,000, they sold it for 150. So, you know, that's the big increase and the big bump we're seeing in everybody's value. The pavement, non-pavement desirability, that can be a part of it. But if we already have those places out there as a low desirability because they are so far out, even though they are on pavement, then I got no place to go. You know, if I already have them based down saying their desirability is, they're way out and they're on pavement, it's still not gonna make that big a difference. Because we're getting the sales are showing this is what it's worth. Because this place like it sold for this much and this place like it sold for this much. So, yeah, I wish I'd love to be able to I wish I could lower everybody's value in town, you know, in the entire county. But it's just not what the numbers dictate right now, and I have to follow those numbers that the state says. So, any of those people that are out there, welcome to come in, and I'll be happy to sit down with them and show them how it's figured. I understand. But when we go back to pavement next year, I'm not gonna raise their taxes back up because they went from gravel to pavement. So, you know, it's not, I don't like to, one thing I don't like to do is I don't like to take people's values and do this with it, because, you know, people like to have kind of an idea where they're gonna
They
be.
just go this with it.
I know, I'd rather they went like
Yeah.
this, but, you know, that doesn't work. The problem is you know, in order for us to grow as a county and everything, we need our assessment to go up. We need to have those assessment dollars go up so that but we need more houses, more businesses, more things like that to spread that tax burden out.
Yeah.
So that everybody's paying a smaller part, and that's what we gotta work for.
I counted the other day within a 3-mile radius where I live, been 10 houses built in the last 3 years.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat.
Oh, man. Yeah, and you know, everything that's going on, we get people who come in daily for NRP applications.
Good.
Because they're building, and it's great. You know, that's really great.
Really great.
So, we're getting there. We just gotta keep pushing.
One step at a time.
Yeah. Like I
Okay.
said, anybody has any questions or anything like that, stop by my office, give me a call, and be happy to sit down and go over everybody's,
Okay.
you know, the way we have it in the system. Okay?
Thank you.
You good?
Yep.
Any more
Good?
questions?
Yeah,
Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Yeah,
Gray.
you're welcome.
I think we need to table healthcare. Justin's sick, right?
Yep.
He's
Okay.
not here at all night then?
No. Make a motion to table the healthcare sales tax ballot language due to a county councilor is absent.
Second.
Let's see. I got a motion, second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Susan Walker, CFO. Good evening. Oh, good evening.
I have a sidekick tonight.
Ganging up on us.
Yeah. In the past, I have discussed with the commission about the state set-off program and possibly collecting on outstanding receivables. We implemented it for the landfill and anything in public works, but we kind of held off on doing it in EMS. And so Terry has done some research, and I'm going to let her kind of talk about that. And we hope that maybe you'll reconsider using the state set-off program. We write off about anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 a month. And so I think we could recover some of those funds. And there's several other places that do that.
I've talked with the state set-off program this past week. They have over 53 EMS agencies that they collect for. They've been very successful in collecting. Some of the smaller ones, like out west, they don't see a big return just because, you know, they're small. but just south of here, they do very well in collection. And with the way the state set off program is now, not only can they collect off of their income tax, but if you go to a casino within the state of Kansas and you get winnings, it's flagged there.
Really?
Yep, they can take it from there.
That'd spoil your night, wouldn't it?
But last year, in 2022, the state collected over $33 million
Wow.
for bad debt. Not just for EMS, but as a whole.
Yeah.
As a whole. But on an average, most services are seeing anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000, $20,000 in collection.
So what, they charge us a percentage what they collect, or?
They do, it's like 19.
19%.
Yeah.
So EMS right now in Bourbon County writes off how much?
It just kind of depends on.
An
the year.
average?
I would say the average is 5,000 a month. And some of those can be deceased people. So, you know, that's kind of the one that we can never recover. But,
And you don't charge unless you transport or otherwise.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Now, with that being said, say we work a code, we work it on scene,
Yeah.
and we end up calling it on scene. We can bill for services, you know, say our drugs, we can bill for that.
Gotcha.
and our auditors were here today and they were asking about this and why we do that. And I said, actually, we're taking that to the commission tonight. So she was actually said there's a lot of others that use the state set-off program. So we're just asking for you to consider
So
it.
there's no expense other than what you,
They'll take
19%
19%
of
yeah,
what's,
but
what's
there's no
collected.
expense to start them working on that?
no.
Actually, it would be Terry and her staff that would have to submit, based off of what we get monthly, we get a report that tells us, what the bad debt is. And so we would send that to the set-off program, and once they collect it, then they let us know. And then we can, go from there.
But the way we're set up with Omni now is they send out 2 statements and then a final letter. And I have generated a generic letter of what would go out stating that, you know, this would notify them that if you don't pay, then this will be turned over to the state set-off program.
Comments, guys?
And if you want a week to wait on it, we just wanted to get it in front of you again and, look into it.
And it's helping for the landfill and public works, makes a little difference?
We haven't ever had to use it
Never
because
had.
we
Okay.
have, if they haven't paid their bills within 2 months, we've been cutting them off at the landfill.
Then they pay,
Yeah, so that's been successful.
yeah.
I don't think I would work for EMS.
But we haven't really had to use it, so.
Mr. Walker?
The question I have on EMS, it's not a big one. You were saying that, like, you could go out if a person's already passed away. And this is near and dear to my heart because I'm sorry I lost my nephew yesterday. And he got lazy. He'd been a paraplegic for 47 years. Both my aunts worked their keisters off. Died in the 80s, maybe almost 90, and the other 80. And now my cousin is taking care of him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And anything the EMS has done, I want to say thank you.
And Clint, I don't know if, maybe, what I said is that when a person is deceased, that debt dies with them. And so we don't go after that debt. And so I just wanna make sure that.
Cliff, you got any comments, thoughts?
I have one question concerning your billing. I mean, if you're sending a bill every 30 days and then a final at 90 days, I mean, I have great insurance and it sometimes takes them longer to pay a bill than 90
We use a third
days.
party, we don't do the billing, we use a third party for our billing.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, you may be jumping too fast at
Writing it off.
at writing it off because.
And I don't think our intent would to be immediately, cause by the time it gets to us, the reporting, it's usually about 120 days. By the time
Already
we're really,
120
yes,
days, like,
yes.
okay.
Yeah,
Because
we've
I've
got
seen my
plenty of
insurance
time.
company take 90 days to pay
Yeah.
for a procedure that they pay 100% of.
Because
But
they process it through to us until they know everything what's being paid.
Okay.
What's being paid.
And all insurance has been
Yeah. Collected,
submitted
yes.
and comparisons to what's reasonable and customary
A lot of
versus what we
times people
charge.
are on payment plans and it will tell us when we get the, statement, it tells us failure to pay, failure to not meet their obligations. I mean, it
Right.
gives us very specific things on, why they're not paying. So, yeah.
And I'll just make one last comment, if I may. Anybody that's associated or covered under VA healthcare, and they receive, let's say, service from Gerard, there's a lapse in the VA's pay. They're the federal government, but they will pay. So you would be losing money to turn that over without making sure that the VA was notified that they had this balance.
Omni does very well with reaching out to these insurance companies. I mean, I've not had any problem, you know, and if they think that there might be other insurance, they'll call me, you know, do you have any other information for this person?
Well, some of my clients, I just have to write a letter and say, did you bill the VA? And they'll say, no. Well,
Right.
if you want to be paid the rest of this, the VA will pay it.
Right.
Anyone want to make a motion?
I don't have a problem with it. I mean, it
I don't
sounds like,
either.
I mean,
Yeah. I need to make a motion and pass it though, don't we?
Yes,
Yeah.
because we'll
Go
have to
ahead.
get signed up with the set-off program.
Okay, I'll make a motion to allow EMS to sign up with the state set-off program so we can start trying to better collect unpaid debt.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
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 Can we, I'm sure the chairman will have to sign our contract.
Okay.
Is that, with that motion, can we have him
That's
sign?
what I was looking to see if there was,
Yeah.
he'll need to sign here?
Yep.
Okay.
I make a motion to allow Chairman Harris to sign the contract with the state set-off program.
Second.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor, aye.
Aye.
My second topic, and you can just stay here.
Okay.
So it shouldn't take long. My second topic was, I think it was a couple weeks ago,
You can
the
go around
sheriff
it.
had brought,
You-
I'll see if she signed, but I don't see where we signed.
municipality.
Oh, municipality, and then you just sign there.
Municipality, that's through me, that's City of Fort Scott. Thank you.
The sheriff had totaled the vehicle and, the sheriff's department, not the sheriff. But there had been a totaled vehicle and we were questioning where we would take the money to help fund that vehicle. I had originally, there had been a proposal to use some of the ARPA funding, but Patty and I have been working on another issue on distributions. And there is going to be an extra distribution this year. And that is about the same amount of money that the sheriff's department is going to be getting. It's $38,000. And so I feel like that it'd be appropriate to use those funds.
agree. That'd be
to
great.
Fund that.
Get a new patrol car and pay cash for it.
Yeah.
That's a
exactly.
plus.
Yeah, so.
That
and
work for you, Bill?
Of course.
Okay. Good
So-
job, Susan.
Yep.
Good job. And Patty, good job, Patty, if you're listening. So-
So
And
that's all I
I'm
have.
sure Jennifer is involved too. Thank you, Jennifer.
You guys probably ought to vote on using that money, just so we have it recorded.
We don't have it yet, right?
It will be, I think Patty's working on it this week.
Okay, so cash basis account covered.
And there is, I mean, there'll be other entities affected by this that will get a distribution, so
Good.
this is good
Okay.
news.
I make a motion to allow us to be able to use the new distribution, some of it anyway, to fund a new patrol vehicle.
I think it'll be all of it. I think
Okay.
there's 38,000 going to that fund.
That's
Second.
my motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Thank you, ladies.
you.
Thanks.
Jennifer Hawkins, County Clerk.
So I received a notice from the Supreme Court of Kansas that the appointment for the non-lawyer member of the 6th District Judicial Nominating Commission will expire in March. Currently, Mark McCoy has been appointed to that. I spoke with Mark, and he said he would be honored to be reappointed if you so choose to do that.
I make a motion to reappoint Mr. Mark McCoy as the non-lawyer member to the 6th District Judicial Nominating Commission.
Second.
And a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Okay.
How many people are on that?
There's 3 non-lawyers and 3 lawyers. 2 people represent each one of the counties.
Okay.
And then when we do have a meeting, we do have a state of Kansas Supreme Court judge who is there to assist and guide us. They do not vote, but they call out procedural things for us.
Okay.
Thank you for your,
Last time we met was up in Lynn County, and we appointed all we do is motion
Yeah.
for individuals to be moved forward for the governor to approve.
Gotcha.
Minimum of 1, maximum of 3. The preference is to at least 2 people so that the governor has a choice. And the last 2 times, we had 3 individuals that we motioned forward for the governor to make a decision on.
Okay.
thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so the 2023 inventory has been completed. This was one thing that we got dinged on our audit last year. It needs to be approved by the commission, so I just have an inventory certificate here that states that you reviewed the inventory that I sent you and approved the 2023 inventory list. So I would just need everybody to sign that, please.
Make a motion to approve the 2023 inventory list.
Second.
And a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we received a letter from K-Camp. Right now, our property memorandum coverage covers for a replacement. They have suggested that members with courthouses or other buildings of a historic nature may want to consider purchasing cover on a reproduction cost valuation basis, meaning that following a loss, the repairs will be made using materials of like kind and quality as those used in the original construction. This would increase our annual property contribution, and then there is a charge of $400 per building for them to come down and appraise.
Okay, can I see it?
Never does it say what percentage it would increase,
It does not say what
Does not.
percentage it would increase.
but if something happened to this building, I don't know why we'd want to build another one that looks like it anyway. It's not real pleasing compared to the last one.
Well, I'm pretty sure we're not gonna use ash mortar
No, you're probably right, so.
in the tuck point, so. Got that.
Yeah, it doesn't say how much it would increase it.
That would concern me, they don't give us a percentage.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd be curious what the general public, thought about if they were willing to spend extra money to keep this building historical, or, you know what I mean?
Well, I don't know that what all that's doing is going to allow you to use, to get, I don't know, let's say that wall falls down there.
Mm-hmm.
For us to go back with true 2-inch lumber
Yeah.
instead of 1.5 inches.
Yeah,
You're not gonna see it.
Yeah. Mhm.
So,
Wouldn't make a difference.
in my opinion, it's not gonna make a difference. So, I mean, and there's probably portions of this building you don't want built the way they built in 1880 or whenever it was. So you may not want it built the way we build today either. But I mean, as far as the outside goes, you could still make it look no different with mortar. I mean, you just use colored mortar. You don't use, I mean, it's, so to me, that's, they're searching for more money.
Yeah.
That's my opinion.
I kind of agree.
I agree, we don't need to spend that money.
Alright. So Sherry Walrod, dropped off an invitation that she spoke about for the Bridges Out of Poverty workshop. I just am here to ask if 2 or more of you plan on going. We just need to make a motion that you may attend and know county business will be taking place.
I'm planning on going.
Okay.
I work on Saturdays, so I can't, I won't go. I will say that Deb, the lady that's gonna be there, is awesome.
Let's see.
Yeah, and she's really worth listening to.
I went to the original workshop. It's pretty neat, very learning experience.
Sounds like only one commissioner will go, so I don't think a motion would be necessary.
Okay.
So the presidential preference primary is coming up in March. Here to ask if we can use the commission room for early voting like we have in the past. We can set up the booths and still hold a meeting on the 11th. We are asking if you could either not have a meeting on the 18th or have it earlier in the day. We are, well, actually, yes, we are going to be very busy that day and even getting all sites set up. So in the past, we have not had a meeting. Whatever you decide.
I say we cancel.
Yeah. Jennifer, will you have stations like regular election one, Redfield and Uniontown,
Yes.
just like a regular?
Yes,
Okay.
so the early voting will start here, and then everybody can vote at their normal polling place on election day.
Okay.
Still the 7 to 7.
I agree with Clifton. Just stay out of the way.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you, we appreciate that. It's a very hectic time for our office, trying to get everybody
That was
prepared.
March 11th?
Yes,
or-
it will start, the early voting is actually gonna start March 11th, and March 19th is the election day.
Okay.
We are going to offer a Saturday, 8 to noon, for those that aren't able to get here, but still want to avoid the lines on election day. So we'll be here on Saturday, 16th, so we can appreciate anybody that wants to come and vote. All right, I think the last thing I have are hay bids. Last year, I think we were a little late getting those out. We have 3 properties, 1131 250th Street, where the radio tower is, Elm Creek Lake, and then the old landfill site, which is 225th and native west of Oak Grove Cemetery.
You okay with all 3 of those areas?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Need a motion for that, Jennifer, or just okay it?
I think we've always just done the hay bids, and then
Yeah.
we,
Okay.
Okay, do
I
you
mean,
still?
then we go through and then we make a motion on which one we pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Sounds
So
great.
do you still want it to state that the hay needs to be removed by August 1st?
I think that's fine,
Okay,
as
and
far as
then-
I'm concerned.
All right, what date would you like to have the bids opened?
Right now.
Okay, I will allow a few weeks, there's no set time. I will allow a few weeks, we'll get that published in the newspaper and put on the website for anybody that wants to do a sealed bid. Those will be accepted in the county clerk's office.
Until when? What is that, what date does it say?
That's what I was wondering, is when you want to open the bid.
I don't care.
Is there not a date of when we did it in the past or when they came back? Or they had to be in by,
Right, so it looks like these were Tuesday meetings. So the bid will have to be in my office by the Friday before the meeting by 4:30.
but it doesn't have a date of when we usually pick that date?
April 13th is what we did last year.
I think that's fine.
Okay,
And May is fine as far as that goes.
Yeah.
I mean, I personally don't want them bailing it twice.
Okay.
we will get those sent out.
That it? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Commission comments. Nelson, you want to go first? Cliff, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll say this, my wife told me to be kind and not say anything tonight. But that's obviously not in my nature. So I know I'm gonna get called all kinds of nonsense on Facebook now after tonight, and that's okay. I should have thick skin, et cetera, et cetera. I think what's funny is there's a member in our audience that pressed charges against somebody for them raising their voice. So, you know, but I got my feelings hurt. Well, maybe I should have called Bill in here, Kevin in here, and said, hey, I want to press charges. because that's what this individual did. But at some point, you lose your patience. Or you know, I mean, if you don't think it's funny, I mean, you don't think I know that what people in the Republican Party committee says about me? I hear, or what they say about me out at the sale barn. I hear that. I'm not conservative enough. I'm not Republican enough. Whatever nonsense y'all want to think. But I hear those things out in public. And, but y'all can say I don't have thick skin or whatever, I'm a baby, whatever you want to do on Facebook. But we get called a lot of things. And the more I say, the more I get called them. And hell, it's always cute to get called out by somebody that lives in West Virginia. That's great. You know, she didn't live here. And according to a person that is in this audience, they don't even pay taxes here anymore. So, you know, but you know what? So I can say, do you live in West Virginia? No, you don't.
I pay taxes here.
So, not what I said, so obviously you're not listening. But anyway.
He didn't mention no names.
And I didn't refer to him.
No, you didn't.
So, but told me about somebody that was from West Virginia. But anyway, so I hear all this nonsense out in public. We all have the same friends, but so I can tell you I have pretty thick skin for some of the things I've been called over the last 3.5 years. But regardless, I'm sitting in this seat so I can say whatever I want, I mean, within reason. And if somebody is staring at me and pointing at me, only me, not the other two commissioners, I have every right to say something to that individual. And then when they come up and slam their hand on the desk, I have every right to say something to whoever I want up here, because it is our meeting. But anyway, and I know, oh, you're disrespectful, blah, blah, blah. So are you all. So are you all. You can dish it out, but you can't take it? Seriously? Grow up. Anyway, that's it.
I'm going to go next because I know you're going to say a prayer. On this resolution that we discussed earlier, after that meeting 2 weeks ago, the representative did call me at home, and I told him I wanted to review this and ask some questions of our county counselor. And I did review it the next day, and I said what I said that day, the same thing I said tonight. With some minor changes, I'll support this. I just, you know, I think I have a right as commissioner, want some verbiage that I can agree with that applies to Bourbon County just as much as it does Texas. So with, you know, as I mentioned, if that says a federal government and you take out those churches and stuff, I'm good with everything else in this thing. And as a commissioner, I have to support my thoughts as well as your thoughts. So it's not that I don't not support this, because we have a serious immigration problem. I like Justin's, a little short one, very, very well. I thought it covered the law as far as talking about the Constitution, et cetera. I'm surprised we didn't pass that one tonight, because it's really to the point of what we're trying to accomplish, I thought. But maybe we're not trying to accomplish what I thought we was trying to accomplish. But the border is a mess, because it said on the news today, well, they've left Texas, now they're in Arizona fighting. So it's going, anyway. If you folks are not willing to change a little bit, I guess it's a dead issue. But again, I support the intent. So, yes, Deb?
I got a comment. I noticed in this, it doesn't, we have no problem with legal immigration.
Right.
But this does not say illegal. And that's the problem, I think, is
Oh, the one.
not dealing with illegal immigration and everything that goes along with that.
I gave mine away. So.
Okay, yes, I don't see, but, you know, this is the first time I've got to read this too. But I think we need to focus on the illegal, not the legal stuff. It's the illegal, the breaking of the laws by
Thank you, Michael.
any kind of entity.
Thank you, thank you. And you are correct, it says the board supports legal immigration.
Yeah, I don't feel like that's the crux of it. It's the illegal
Okay.
activity and immigration and everything that goes with it.
But paraphrasing, if you support legal immigration, does that mean you probably don't support illegal?
Well, I
Give
think,
it-
I think.
Be better if it
legal
said
needs
it.
to be in there,
Okay.
yes.
Well, I think we have a lot of room to grow here and do some things. We just,
Sure.
we gotta tweak it a little bit, so. Okay, that's all I have. Yep, Michael.
I have one question, and maybe for Jennifer. If we've delayed the healthcare, sales tax ballot, I guess, till next time, does that eliminate April 16th as being the, any possibility of a voting date?
Yes, I have a set amount of time that I have to publish in the newspaper, but I believe that they were wanting to go more toward the May date, so no, it would not be April at this point.
Yeah, we was,
Yes.
Right, because it has to be 60 days after the end of a quarter or the beginning of a quarter. So it will actually move the first date that you can collect into January, or you'll be paid. You might start collecting it October 1st.
We are all fully aware of all of this stuff.
yeah.
Okay, I'm asking
So-
a question, and I hope I was.
It's 40 days. 40 days, I thought she answered that.
She did, and
Okay.
I'm talking with Jennifer.
Michael, if I was gonna guesstimate on a date right now, it would be May the 14th. That's a guess. There's nothing final on that.
Thank you.
So, and again, I'm gonna say one more, I keep saying I'm done. I felt like a lot of people were being rude in this room tonight, speaking toward us. Maybe that wasn't their intent, but I took that too. And I don't get argumentative. I'm, probably at times I should more, but I just don't think it went very polite on it today. So, I'm trying to clean that up, but I don't want to single anybody out of the intent, because it probably wasn't meant that direction. It just, that's why I asked the representative to start wrapping it up, because it was getting ready to get blown out of proportion. I could see it coming.
We couldn't see his face, and we haven't, he was his back was.
That's all I have. Nelson?
Well, I'm really feeling the love of Jesus right now.
Here we go.
So let's
Here we
pray.
go.
All right. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this evening. I pray that you will give us all the love and compassion that you have for us, and teach us to show it to other people. I pray that you will thank you for forgiving our sins, the sins that we know we commit, and the sins that we don't realize we're committing. In the name of Jesus, amen.
Amen. Thank you. Make a motion to adjourn.
Oh, yeah. I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.